This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
And welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the Talkstar Radio Network and the X-Zone Broadcast Network and our growing family of broadcast affiliates right across Canada, the United States, Central America, the Caribbean, South America, the Pacific Rim, Australia, Asia, India, Africa, and Europe. If you'd like to give us a call, toll-free worldwide, 1-800-610-7035. That's 1-800-610-7035. My email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. X-Zone Nation, my guest this hour is Lorna Byrne, and she is a international best-selling author, and has been seeing and talking to angels since she was a baby. Very unusually, she sees angels physically, just as you see someone sitting across from you. Dyslexic and diagnosed as a retarded as a child, she has never read a book. She says that the angels are her teachers, and she shares their wisdom in an authentic and charming way. The story of her life sharing the wisdom, God, and the angels have taught her Angels in My Hair, a blockbuster in her native Ireland, 20 weeks at number 1, and the best-selling non-fiction book in Ireland in 2009, after Barack Obama's Dreams of My Father. A Sunday Times bestseller in the United Kingdom, it is now translated into 20 languages, including Japanese, Korean, and Russian. In the USA, it is published by Doubleday. The overwhelming reaction of the millions of readers internationally to Angels in My Hair is that it has given them hope, helped them to realize that no matter how alone they might feel, they have a guardian angel that is at their side. And Lorna Byrne, welcome to the X-Zone.
Hello, Rob. I'm delighted to be talking with you.
It's great having you with us tonight here on the X-Zone, Lorna. What was it like when you saw your very first angel?
And the only way I can say that is I cannot remember a moment never seeing angels, so I would always say to people, from the moment I opened my eyes, I always remember lying in my cot, as an infant and reaching out and trying to catch them, to touch them, especially when my mom would be bending over me to fix my blanket or something. They were there all of the time. You have to remember when I was a little child, I didn't actually know what they were at first. Mm-hmm. It was only as I grew, they started to tell me, and they told me to keep it a secret. And at the time, I didn't understand why I was to keep it a secret. But that was really because I was dyslexic. And in Ireland, way back then, if a child had learning difficulties and, they were considered retarded. And in Ireland back then, they didn't even know what dyslexic was. And I know not even pronouncing it properly. And of course, I think I was maybe about 2 or 2.5. I had a little brother that had died before I was born. Oh. But I used to see him and play with him. And he used to change size. Sometimes when my mom would be asleep in the chair, mm-hmm. He would be an infant in her arms. And other times he would be playing with me, but he would be older. And then one day we just touched. We were playing in front of the fire with blocks, and we touched, and it was just so tingly, that it made me laugh and smile. And it was really from then that the angels explained. They explained to me that my little brother, was a soul. He wasn't an angel like them.
Lorna, please stand by. You and I have to take a 2-minute commercial break. We'll be right back. Lorna Byrne is our special guest Exonation. www.lornabyrne.com. That's LornaByrne.com. We'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue right here in the X Zone. Don't go away.
This is Kevin Randall. For nearly 30 years, I have been investigating the case of the Roswell UFO. I have interviewed hundreds of people and stood on the crash site. Now in Roswell in the 21st century, I have reviewed dozens of hours of audio and videotaped interviews, examined hundreds of files that relate to the crash, and have returned to Roswell in an attempt to put all that information into the proper perspective. For the first time in Roswell in the 21st century, I have made a dispassionate reevaluation of all that material and provide a new look at what happened. This is a book that clears away all the clutter that has hidden the truth for so long, strips away the various lies that surround the case, exposes the Air Force attempts at cover-up, and found a core of solid information that tells us all where the case stands today. Roswell in the 21st century will be available in just a few weeks. For more information, please visit my website at www.kevinrandall.blogspot.com.
Gibbs A. Williams, Ph.D., is a practicing psychoanalyst, supervisor, researcher, and author in New York City. Much of his life has been dedicated to understanding nature and the uses of meaningful coincidences or synchronicities. His radical and original non-Jungian, non-mystical, non-magical theory of synchronicities illuminates much of the fog surrounding this challenging and perplexing topic. His ideas and manners are fresh, presented in a style that is both entertaining and highly informative. He is also an expert on crisis intervention, specially focused on violence reduction for the police and citizens, mastering anxiety, frustration, and stress without the use of medication, and effectively preventing and treating heroin addiction. Dr. Williams can be contacted at his email address at gwwilliamsny11@aol.com or visit his website at www.drgibbswilliams.com.
Shamanism is recognized as a method to access the quantum level. Mastery of shamanic skills puts spiritual information and healing power into your hands. Path Home Shamanic Art School, a bonded Colorado certified occupational school, has met rigorous state standards, ensuring its director and instructors have the qualifications to teach the shamanic arts. Path Home offers its certification program in blocks of study. Block 1, a 5-day intensive, will be held in the beautiful mountain town of Coaldale, Colorado, October 13th through 18th. Registration deadline is September 12th. Experience journey trance, power animals, helping spirits, sacred space, and life purpose. Come discover your power. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, in the magical world of shamanism. Call 303-775-3431 or visit findyourpathhome.com.
With each new extreme weather event or terrorist act, it becomes increasingly obvious that we live in uncertain and challenging times. We all buy car insurance. Why not collapse and catastrophe insurance? Matthew Stein, an MIT-trained engineer and green builder, has written 2 outstanding books to help people prepare, plan for, and deal with everything from minor situations lasting a few days to full-on collapse. Matt's first book, When Technology Fails, is a manual for self-reliance, sustainable living, and surviving the long emergency. This massive book covers the gamut from first aid and emergency preparedness to alternative healing, renewable energy, primitive living skills, and 18th century technologies that could be critical to your comfort and survival in a long-lasting crisis. Matt's second book, When Disaster Strikes, is a comprehensive emergency preparedness handbook and survival guide. When Disaster Strikes is an essential item for every family's go bag. Both books are available at all usual sources. There's a wealth of totally free information posted at whentechfails.com, and author-signed copies may be purchased at mattstein.com. That's www.whentechfails.com and www.mattstein.com. Lorna Byrne is my special guest explanation. She is the author of Angels in My Hair, and her website is www.lornabyrne.com. That's LornaByrne.com. Lorna, before you and I left for the commercial break, you were telling us how your brother, who had passed, was with you a number of times, playing with you. At times he would appear to be the size of a baby in your mother's arms, and then at other times he would be playing with you. And before we went to the break, you told us how you touched him, and it was like tingling all over. Was this the very first time that you touched your brother as an angel?
It was the first time, and it was tingly and all sparks. And that was when the angels explained to me that my brother was a soul, not an angel,
mm-hmm.
and that they were angels. And the angels have been in my life, right up to this very day now. And they have been my best friends and my companions and absolutely great teachers. Because you have to remember, I was considered retarded, so I didn't get any education at all. You went to school and you were put into the back seat in the class, and the teacher didn't bother with you. But I see angels with everybody, and I know you have a guardian angel there with you. I don't doubt it at all. And I suppose that's one of the most important things. People find great comfort from the book because it's reminding them of that they have a guardian angel that's the gatekeeper of their soul, and that guardian angel never leaves them, not even for 1 second, so they're not alone. And that alone has given people great comfort. No matter what's happening in their lives now, they know that they're not alone. And all that you have to do is just ask.
But what about people who don't believe in God? Do they still get a guardian angel?
I have to smile now, even when you say that. When I go outside, and now because of the book, I've been traveling, around the world and all of that. I see angels with every single human being, man, woman, and child. It doesn't matter whether they believe or not. Everyone has a soul, and God has given us all, each and every one of us, a guardian angel as a gift to help to look after us, and especially to be the gatekeeper of our souls. What would I say? Even in Dublin, there is a synagogue. Here in Ireland, most people are Catholic, but now it's kind of changing because we have a lot of people coming into the country. And I always remember, passing the synagogue, and one day, loads of the men came out, and their guardian angels and all the other angels around them were absolutely beautiful. It doesn't make any difference what religion you are, you have a guardian angel. And I think that is one of the most wonderful things.
Lorna, tell me, what is the role of a guardian angel?
It's actually the main role is to be with you all of the time and never leave you. And the main role is to be, the gatekeeper of your soul. But as well, it's to help to protect you in all the ways that the angel can. And your guardian angel, it allows in other angels to give you a helping hand, and even allows in, the soul of someone that maybe you loved that has passed over, to be there. And that alone in the book, I have written a little piece about it, where when maybe a young child dies, a mother, they're getting great comfort to know that, that little soul, their little baby did choose them to be their mother, even if it couldn't stay. And that alone has given an awful lot of parents great comfort. And that's what I suppose we're all to remember. We're human, but we have a soul, and our body dies, but we don't. Our soul lives. It's just our body that rots away in the ground. We actually live. And I suppose people to say, where's the proof? I can't give the proof. It's only faith. I see them, and I do ask God, and the angels, please let everyone else. And I know all over the world now, more and more people are experiencing things to do with their angels, or even experiencing things to do with, a loved one that passed over, they'd feel their presence and give them comfort to help them grieve. There are so many things. People are just so hungry and thirsty. They're afraid. I know some people would laugh and ridicule, but yet they're as hungry and as thirsty as a person who believes, because they want to know as well. And God and the angels in your soul, that is what is the supernatural. But that's the thing. We're all longing to know that there is more to life, that there is angels, and that we have a soul, and that God does exist.
Now, how do you communicate with your angels?
I'd have to smile at that, because all that you have to do is ask. And I suppose maybe the first thing is just to acknowledge within yourself, say to yourself, well, what have I got to lose? In just trying to believe. That is the first step. And then in just asking, so many times I did hear so many people talk to me, and they would say, they have asked, for such and such a thing, and they didn't get it. And they'd be saying, well, how could my angel exist if I don't get what I ask? And I always smile at them, and I would say to them, wait. And it always happens that they come back later and they will tell you, I'm glad I didn't get for what I asked, because what I have now is better. And that's what we must remember. Most of the time, we think something, is really important to us, or that we need that job.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're wondering why we didn't get it, because we were asking our angel for it. But then the next job you get, you'll find that that's really the job that you wanted, not the other one.
Why doesn't God or the angels stop bad things from happening, Lorna? For example, the death of a child that you and I were just talking about a few minutes ago. Or even the major earthquakes in Haiti and Chile.
That is the really big question, and that is the one I'd give out to God and the angels about. I know we all have free will,
right?
And I suppose that is one of the things that we have to remember. We are human, and our human body is going to die. And I know a parent would say, why, did my child get sick? My child lived for 7 years and then he died. But one thing I always notice when there's a sick child in a family or anyone, most of the time, a lot of the family, no matter what they're going through, with coping with it, they always seem to grow spiritually. Most of the time it joins a family together. And I have heard this so many times. People would say, the electricity bill is not important at all anymore. They stop worrying about the things maybe you and I are worrying about, because they have someone ill in their family, and they know the most important thing is that person. I don't know why we have earthquakes. I know we kind of damage our planet, and I know our planet kind of is alive and twists and turns.
Certainly.
And has to heal itself. I suppose maybe at times if we were a little bit more careful, maybe we wouldn't have so many earthquakes. It's a big question, and I give out to God all of the time. It's because the angels have been in my life all of the time right till now. I have gone through an awful lot as well. But yes, I wouldn't change my life for anything. Even in the short space, of not knowing my little brother when he was, because he was born before I was, and he died before I was born. But I know I'm gifted in the way that I got to know him spiritually as well. But even when the angels told me I would write, and, the angel Elijah walked across the water and told me about the young man I would marry, and showed him to me in a vision. And then told me, he would become ill and I would look after him and we'd have children, but he would die, a young man. I still wouldn't change that, because the only way I can say I loved my husband very much, and I was just, so delighted to have him for the length of time I did. And to me, that is the most important thing. Maybe that would help to answer your question.
Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answers your question. Well, I think that answ Children, God bless them, are so precious. Do they have special guardian angels?
Every child has a guardian angel. You have to remember, children have only just come from heaven, and very young children, they turn around and they will say, Mama, your angel is there beside you, or your angel, Mom said, you're not to do something. Or they might actually turn around and say to you, Granda said, Mom, you're not to go out to the shops now. Children give, young children now especially, give messages to us all of the time because they have just come from heaven. Their soul is so pure and they don't have, what would you say, any hang-ups or, they hear their angels, they see them, and they respond to them. It is just that when they get older, they get conditioned. The way a parent will turn around and say to a child, oh, don't be telling fibs. If a child turned around and said, I'm going outside to play with my little friend, we would turn around and say, don't be making up stories. I always say to parents, you shouldn't say anything like that to the child. You should just smile. Leave them, to believe, and maybe one day they'll turn around and tell you, it was my angel I was talking to.
Just because we can't see the angel doesn't mean the child can't.
That's exactly, because, as I said, they have just come from heaven. Their soul is so pure. It's not like ours, because, what would you say, we're more inclined to lie than a child is. We're more inclined to do the wrong things.
Lorna, you and I have to take our news break. Please stand by. Okay. Lorna Byrne is our special guest, Exonation, www.lornabyrne.com. The name of her book is Angels in My Hair. My name is Rob McConnell. Lorna Byrne and I return on the other side of this break after the news as the X-Zone continues on the Talkstar Radio Network and on the X-Zone Broadcast Network.
It was a terrifying experience.
I thought we was going to go to jail for murder.
That day, we were a little behind, so we worked until it was starting to get dark.
We loaded up the equipment and hadn't driven very far when we caught glimmers of this glow coming through the trees. I urged Mike to hurry up and get up there.
Travis had the door open before we even stopped. As he got closer, I heard the sound.
One of the guys said, "You feel that?"
I really panicked then.
I told him, "Get the hell out of here."
It didn't come directly to me, it came to a deputy sheriff.
Three of us volunteered right away to tell him what had happened.
Sheriff Gillespie definitely didn't believe it.
He says that we better be certain because we get in a lot of trouble.
When we went to search the next day, they split us up, and the whole time the deputies asked me, if you just tell us where the body is, we can all go home and get this over with.
We're talking about 100 people combing through the wooded area. Nothing turns up.
All week long, I've been hearing they're going to set it up to make you guys look guilty.
We're a rough-looking bunch then. Some of us have been in trouble with the law before.
And y'all ain't never going to come out of that jailhouse.
We couldn't get out.
I tried to sneak out the back door the day of the polygraph test. I was scared to death.
On top of that, you have media.
I literally would be on 2 telephones at the same time.
We've even got some coops in here now that's coming in and out to see the freak show, as they call it.
Everyone descends.
I just wasn't going to stand there and listen to it anymore.
Granny says, "This is Travis. I'm back. I need help." When I did hear that he had been returned, it was almost as unbelievable as the original thing.
I just looked at my mom and says, "I told you we didn't kill him."
Travis Walton reappeared after several days with a bizarre story about a ride in an unidentified flying object.
People were desperate to explain it away.
Why are you sticking up with Travis for all this time? You know this really didn't happen.
What happened to Travis after we took off in that truck, I can't tell you.
I hated Travis for a long time after this. My whole world just tore up.
But I believe every word Travis said about it. He's never lied to me about nothing.
It's a net negative. We lost our jobs in the immediate aftermath.
And now you're not able to talk about it with anyone because you know that they're going to laugh at you, they're going to look at you like you're crazy.
But if you don't come out and tell your story, somebody else is going to tell it for you.
There's a degree of responsibility. Certainly I have to accept the bad. If I can direct what's happened in a way that I can make something good happen in the world, I'm looking for it.
Order your copy of Travis, The True Story of Travis Walton, today at www.traviswaltonthemovie.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, High Tech with Corey Kay, and every minute of the 24/7, 365 programming of the X Zone Broadcast Network by calling 712-432-9459, courtesy of TalkStream Live. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 712-432-9459 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 712-432-9459 for the best of paranormal, new age, thought-provoking, sci-fi radio programming 24/7, 365.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? Well then, meet Dr. Kimberly McGeorge and her cutting-edge breakthrough knowledge that combines science with possibility. Dr. Kimberly brings real-life answers and healing to those open to alternative solutions. She teaches solution-based programs and classes that will change all areas of your life forever. Specializing in conscious creation, intuitive readings, and energy medicine, you can rapidly shift health, relationships, business, and money and abundance challenges quickly. Receive her best-selling book, Secret to Everything, at no cost by going to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone. That's right, transformation can start now. Just go to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone and receive Dr. Kimberly's book for free.
While science pursues fact, magic accesses the quantum level, bridging random facts to form truth. As long as science and magic remain separate and polarized, the truth cannot be known. I'm Gwilda Wiyaka. Join me on the Science of Magic radio program, dedicated to unification and evolution of consciousness. During each episode, I'll be speaking with experienced and respected scientists and mystics. From astrologers to astronomers, from medical doctors to shaman, the scientific method to dowsing and intuition, we'll weave together information from seemingly divergent practices to promote unity and enlightenment. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, and the Science of Magic right here on the Mutual Broadcast Network. For more information, visit www.thescienceofmagic.net.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
And welcome back, X Zone Nation. Lorna Byrne is our special guest. We're talking about angels this hour of the X Zone. Lorna's website is www.lornabyrne.com, and the name of her book is angelsinmyhair.com. Lorna, what do angels look like? Do they have those beautiful wings that we've seen in paintings by the great masters? Do they have that beautiful glowing hair, those blue eyes? Is this what an angel looks like?
angels are absolutely beautiful, and the only way I can explain to you is they would be unexplainable in one sense to describe them, but what they do is they give a human appearance within themselves. And sometimes I do see them with wings, but not all of the time. And with every human being, I see that light of the guardian angel right behind them. I always say about 3 steps, and that light is your guardian angel. Some of the angels, my own personal angels like Michael and Elijah and Hosis, they give such a human appearance, and especially Michael, that one day when I was in the college here in Maynooth, it was a time when my husband was alive, and the angel Michael was walking with me, and there was 2 priests coming in the opposite direction, and they turned around and they said, "Hello, Father." They didn't say hello, Father, to me now, it was to Michael. He gave a human appearance as dressed, like a priest. And another time, an elderly lady, well, she's elderly now, she turned around to me one day, and she turned around and said, "I saw that young man you were walking with." And I knew quite well she couldn't have seen me out walking with a young man. I knew it had to be Michael, because I wouldn't have been out walking with someone else except my husband. And I know all around the world people, they will say, a stranger came up and gave them a helping hand under extreme circumstances, and then afterwards, they just were gone, and they could never find them. And I believe that would have been an angel that gave such a human appearance. But one thing about angels is their feet never touch the ground. And sometimes, it just looks like as if they do, but they don't. They are just beautiful, and they do glow. And just like the angel Michael, he does have sapphire blue eyes. But it's like his eyes have, what would you say, it's like, they have such a light in them that it's like as if you can travel for miles down through them when you look into them. And I suppose one thing we should always remember, God's angels will never ask you to do anything wrong. They never ask you to be spiteful or mean. So that's how people would say, how do they know their angel is talking to them, or their angel is guiding them on something? And that's the best way to understand your guardian angel will never ask you to do anything wrong.
Do the angels... Well, let me give you a situation. Let's say that someone's grandmother passes away. Can grandmother come back as a guardian angel?
No.
No, eh?
I would be asked that question, and no, your grandmother doesn't come back as a guardian angel. Your grandmother is a soul. We're more than angels, and I always feel embarrassed in one sense when I'm saying this, but this is what the angels have told me and what God has told me. Angels are only creatures. God created them, but they're only creatures. We are souls. We are, that little dot. That's what our soul is, of that light of God. We're part of God. And that's another reason why the angels love to be around us, because then they are in the presence of God's light, which is our soul. We're more. So it is your guardian angel that never leaves you for 1 second. And it's your guardian angel that would allow your grandmother, say who had passed over, to come in and to be around you, because you need to feel her presence. Or you, in a sense, called her.
Right.
But your grandmother won't stay with you every second. She will come and go. But she's not an angel. We are more than angels. And to me, that is just unbelievable. I'd get embarrassed when I'd have to say, angels are only creatures. But they have told me to say it to let people know. And I've heard from people all around the world, and I have a website as well with questions, and there's a prayer scroll, and there's just so many letters coming in from all ages, from the age of 8, a child, and right up to 98 years of age. And I kind of, so surprised that so many young men, believe in angels. I thought it would only all be women and girls. But it is incredible. I even have a 14-year-old mother sent me a letter, and he's a boy, and she wants me to meet her son because her son believes so strongly in angels. And I've just heard from so many people saying how it has changed their lives. Even a young girl from, I think, Colombia. She said she read the book, and she turned around, and in the letter she said she was very bad, and she named out a few things. And she said in reading the book now she knows she has a guardian angel, she's going to try and be good. And she asked me to pray and to ask her guardian angel to help her. She doesn't want to be as she is. She wants to be a better, good person. And that seems to be what the book is doing. It's just changing people, for the better. Making people, to be more loving and more caring and reaching out to each other. And I remember saying to God, if the book helps just one person in the world, I would be very happy. But it seems to be helping people right across the world. It's unbelievable. I find it unbelievable myself, and I have written it. You have to remember, as a child, the angels used to say, I would write about them. And then the day the angel Michael, came up behind me and told me it was getting near time for me to write. I was married and I was feeling my little daughter home. And I remember turning to him and smiling and laughing and saying, Michael, I can't even read or write, and you expect me to write a book. And he just said plenty of help would be sent. And just all the miracles that have happened from then is unbelievable as well. I just started to say, I'm thinking of writing. And someone who I hadn't known at the time went out and bought me a Dell laptop. And I can speak into it, and it prints out. I'm just hoping, more the time praying now that technology will get better. And that's how I've actually written the book, is speaking into the computer.
Now, are there more and more angels coming to this planet because of the problems that were in the very touchy situation in the Middle East, the ongoing terrorist attacks, the men and women who are fighting for freedom and democracy around the world? Do the angels have the ability to call other angels in for help?
Yes, they do, and they do that all of the time. There's just so many angels. I just say they're being poured down in bucketfuls onto the earth, for us. And they're going around unemployed. Mm-hmm. And we need to, to become conscious and ask them. I say to people, you ask your guardian angel to ask, the angels of other people that you know, and even, where there's war, what you're talking about now. And I have to smile when you say that, because I was in a hotel one day, and this man came over to me and he recognized me, and he said, you wrote the book Angels in My Hair, and he said he read it, but he turned around and said to me, your book wouldn't be allowed to be published in my country. And he turned around and said, it's a pity you didn't write this back, a year or so ago beforehand. He said, because he turned around and he said he didn't listen to God's angels, he listened to the other side. And because one day with his family, bombs were dropping and there was a whole load of killing going on. And he said some of his family got hurt. And he said he was so full of revenge and hate. And in reading the book, it's like as if it woke him up. He realized what he had done. He'd gone out and done the same thing. And he said now he looks at his own little children, and he says the thoughts of it. He says, if somebody came along with the same revenge as he had and killed my children, he said, how can the world stop revenge? And he said he would never do it again. And I suppose maybe that's how war happens. We hurt somebody, and then that person, reaches out to hurt us back. Mm-hmm. And that's where we need to, call on our own guardian angels and ask the angels of all the people the terrorists, even those who are not terrorists, to reach out to their guardian angels to empower them to help, stop someone being angry or someone being mad or somebody, feeling so emotional that they don't feel any pain as such, so they go and hurt someone else. How can you have, peace in the world if you don't have it in our own homes? So it's like even within our family, if there's any dispute or any little argument, it's kind of just reach out, open the door again. We have to start somewhere. And I'm always asking the angels to pour down on those countries that you've spoke of there now. And I get loads of letters from parents from the States who have their sons, with peacekeeping soldiers, asking for them to be protected. And I ask the guardian angel to protect them. We all need to do that to make this, a better world. We have our guardian angel that's a gift from God. Angels are gifts from God to us. Let's use them. Let's empower them. Let's empower ourselves. Let's reach out to each other. And it's only asking.
Mm-hmm. But let's take a look at September 11, 2001, when those terrorists flew planes into the World Trade Center, to the Pentagon, and were going to attack another city before the brave people on board that flight over Pennsylvania brought the aircraft down so others could live. Why couldn't the angels have stopped that before it happened and saved 3,000 lives? I understand that we have free soul, but I have a hard time trying to justify, if all this goodness is around us, why so many people have to die.
And I suppose in the book Angels in My Hair, I have a story in there about a young man, that was murdered, by what you would call now the terrorists in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was war up in Northern Ireland. And I know even with those planes, that again is, I always feel nervous talking about this part because God introduced me to Satan. So Satan exists, and I call him Satan because I was brought up a Catholic. That's the name I know of him. It is the one that most people would call the devil.
Right.
And we find it so easy to listen. Those terrorists that, took over those planes, that's what they were listening to. But I know their angels were there all of the time. Their guardian angel was there, never left them either for a second, doing their best, trying to get them to listen, not to hurt anyone, not to be doing what they're doing. But the sad thing is they were probably, hurt themselves so much, just like that man I met in the hotel. He did terrible things, but he would never do it again because of revenge. And I know the people on the airplanes, I know all the angels were there with them. And I know that one particular airplane that the people, were able to make the phone calls, all the passengers. I know the angels were there with them, and I know they did not die alone. But yet I know it kind of woke the world up as well. Their death wasn't meaningless. And that is very hard because I know family, miss them terribly. But yet it has woken, the people of America up.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? Well then, meet Dr. Kimberly McGeorge and her cutting-edge breakthrough knowledge that combines science with possibility. Dr. Kimberly brings real-life answers and healing to those open to alternative solutions. She teaches solution-based programs and classes that will change all areas of your life forever. Specializing in conscious creation, intuitive readings, and energy medicine, you can rapidly shift health, relationships, business, and money and abundance challenges quickly. Receive her best-selling book, Secret to Everything, at no cost by going to secrettoeverything.com/X Zone. That's right, transformation can start now. Just go to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone and receive Dr. Kimberly's book for free.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, High Tech with Corey Kay, and every minute of the 24/7, 365 programming of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 712-432-9459, courtesy of TalkStream Live. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 712-432-9459 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 712-432-9459 for the best of paranormal, new age, thought-provoking, sci-fi radio programming 24/7, 365.
Coming soon to the X-Zone Broadcast Network is A Different Perspective with me, Kevin Randle, as your host. We'll be taking a close look at what is happening in the world of UFOs today with side trips into the paranormal. Guests will range from those who are household names to those who have a different perspective on a variety of topics. No topic will be taboo, but there will be tough questions asked as we all search for the truth about UFOs, the paranormal, and those things that excite us. Sometimes we'll agree with a guest and sometimes we won't, but we'll try to keep the program topical. For those of you who like to read, be sure to visit www.kevinrandle.blogspot.com and remember to listen to the other fine programs on the X-Zone Broadcast Network at www.xzbn.net. This is Kevin Randle. For nearly 30 years, I have been investigating the case of the Roswell UFO. I have interviewed hundreds of people and stood on the crash site. Now in Roswell in the 21st century, I have reviewed dozens of hours of audio and videotaped interviews, examined hundreds of files that relate to the crash, and have returned to Roswell in an attempt to put all that information into the proper perspective. For the first time in Roswell in the 21st century, I have made a dispassionate reevaluation of all that material and provide a new look at what happened. This is a book that clears away all the clutter that has hidden the truth for so long, strips away the various lies that surround the case, exposes the Air Force attempts at cover-up, and found a core of solid information that tells us all where the case stands today. Roswell in the 21st century will be available in just a few weeks. For more information, please visit my website at www.kevinrandle.blogspot.com.
What Happened in Benghazi is revealed by Nicholas Genix, author of Obama, Islam, and Benghazi. He informs the American people that President Obama deceived them by advocating a strong foreign policy prior to the 2012 presidential election, and Hillary Clinton supported this deception. As the title infers, there is a connection between Obama, Islam, and Benghazi. Ample evidence informs Americans that Obama's early indoctrination in the Quran developed an affinity for Islam, why the Quran is the source of discontent in many countries, and why the Obama foreign policy deception led to poor military action and caused the loss of American lives in Benghazi. Genix provides 36 questions for the Select Committee on Benghazi to validate if Americans are justified to mistrust President Obama and Hillary Clinton. An overview of Obama, Islam, and Benghazi is presented on the website www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com. Afterlife expert Roberta Grimes was the first one to say that dying can be fun. Now her best-selling book, The Fun of Dying, is available in stores worldwide. So if you wonder whether death ends life, how it feels to die, or what heaven might be like, The Fun of Dying was written for you. And if you have always been afraid of death, or if you worry that your life has no meaning, let The Fun of Dying ease your fears and bring new meaning to your life. Nothing said in The Fun of Dying is based on the teachings of any religion. Instead, Roberta draws on evidence to explain how death happens, how it feels, and what comes next. A lot of the best death-related evidence was produced in the first half of the 20th century. When it is put together with recent discoveries, it tells a consistent and amazing story. Roberta Grimes blogs and answers questions at robertagrimes.com. Her wonderful book, The Fun of Dying, is available on Amazon and at stores worldwide wherever books are sold. Exo Nation, my guest this hour is a very special lady. Her name is Lorna Byrne. Her website is www.lornabyrne.com. That's LORNABYRNE.com. And we've been speaking to Lorna at her home in Ireland. She's the author of Angels in My Hair. And, Lorna, tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. Do the Irish have a particular connection with angels?
I believe they do because, St. Patrick, he was a very spiritual man, a holy man, and he banished, the snakes from Ireland.
Yes.
So we were all conscious that, he was listening to his angel, to his guardian angel, because he done wonderful things. And sure, all around the world, a lot of places celebrate, St. Patrick's Day, and it is something very big here in Ireland. It has not just one day, but you would say, all this week, we have been celebrating St. Patrick.
Do the angels have anything that they would like you to share with our worldwide listening audience tonight?
One thing the angels are saying to me is for you just to become conscious you have a guardian angel, and to ask, for their help, and to ask for signs even, but try not to miss the signs that our angels give us. And sometimes a person, might say, well, I'd love a sign of a flower or something, but again, maybe you have to remember your guardian angel has to ask someone humanly to give you that flower. And one of the young people of the world, young children, you could be out walking and a small child will come up to you and hand you a flower. And again, that is where the children, listen to their angels so much. And it's just maybe for ourselves, they're saying to try and listen. When you hear that little voice inside of you, or that feeling you get in your tummy, or, and you're walking down the street and you should smile at someone when they're passing you by, even if they're strangers, go and give them the smile, because, your angels ask us to do simple things like that, but all those simple things are so important. Or sometimes the angels will whisper in your ear and will bring, a name into your mind. It could be your aunt or a friend, and they're asking you to give them a ring. And that is something that the angels tell me, we are good listeners, but we say to ourselves, oh, that would be foolish to ring Aunt Mary. I haven't spoken to her in years, but you have to remember Aunt Mary could be feeling down in herself or lonely, and she could be saying to the angels, will you let Catherine give me a ring? And
Lorna, we have to say so long, dear. We've just
run
out of time for tonight.
Okay.
I want to thank you so much for joining us. Continued success to you, love to your angels, and from everyone over here in Canada, to you and yours and the great people of Ireland, a very happy St. Patrick's Day.
And the same from Ireland to all your listeners and yourself. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
We'll be back on the other side of this commercial break at 6.5 minutes past the hour as the X Zone continues. Don't go away.